everybody, Katrina here. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. If you've been here for a while, or for the last 2 years at least, welcome back. Thanks for stopping and checking this video out. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. I had the privilege of joining one of Dina Wakley's Facebook classes yesterday, and we created this book. Well, I created this book. The other women in the class created their own books. And I've looked in on the Facebook group, and each of them are gorgeous and absolutely in unique style of their own. So I wanted to share what I did with mine. But before then, I just wanted to show you how much, as Dina calls it, fodder is left over from our project. And I am definitely going to save in my stash and reuse for another project some other time. Even got some paint on a parchment paper. This was all new to me. I've never taken an online class where it was live, where you can actually interact with the teacher, and the teacher actually looked through the comments, and when she was able to see it in real time, she answered our questions. And the best part of it is that she took her time. She waited for us to catch up instead of going, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. Oh, don't worry, you can watch the replay later. No, she actually waited for us to finish certain steps. And if we weren't sure how to do a certain step, like assembling the book, because we weren't there in real time with her where she could go around and show us on our own books, she did it a couple different ways until we understood. And even better than that is if you still didn't understand a step, she gave us her email to email her, and she said she would respond back to us and help us the best she knew how, which I think is fabulous for someone who is a creative who wants to teach others, to see that type of teaching style, yes, that's the word I'm looking for, teaching style already being used in the world. So that gives me a huge amounts of inspiration to wanting to teach my own classes someday. The 3 colors I chose, and these are the colors that I showed you in the previous video, which I'll link right here, is because these are the ones that talked to me that day. I have some other acrylic paints, I forget the name of them right now, but they're fluid acrylic paints, which I haven't swatched yet. I was tempted to use those, but I decided to try Dina's out, and I used these over the ones I had from Target. And let me tell you, if you have not used these type of paints before, they're called Dina Wakley Media. They're from Ranger. You need to treat yourself. They're not that expensive in the sense they're not like $8 or $9 a bottle like some other paint companies are. They're within my budget. They were under $4 a pop. And they give you, if you've never ordered from Ranger, they give you a coupon, I think like for 20% off your first order if you sign up with the email. And it is so worth it. And one reason I liked it is, even though it doesn't look like there's a lot of paint, there's about a fluid ounce in it, it has this little spout. So you can just plop it down onto your mat and use your paintbrush, or you can draw with it or put little dots, whatever you want to do. And I think that's pretty smart. And what I've done is I put them upside down in my cart. I got that idea from my creative friend Shannon Klingerman when she did a post one time of all of her acrylic paints that came in the jars from Target, is because they stick in the bottom and they usually dry out, but if you turn it this way, you have a better chance of it staying there. So I used turquoise, tangelo, which I think is becoming one of my favorite colors, and cheddar. Dina used other colors, and she encouraged us wholeheartedly to use colors that we liked. If we wanted to copy the colors she used, she was more than happy for us to do that, and she gave us the list of those colors. Now on to the reveal of the book. I'm going to bring the camera down just a little. It's working this time. I'm not getting out of focus just a little. Hopefully we can get back into focus here. Let's see if we can help it. Will it go back into focus? Hang on guys, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm still getting used to this camera that my husband so lovingly gave me, and for some reason I might have misunderstood one of the directions on a YouTube video that I watched on how to do things so we'll stay in focus all the time. Alright, this book is finished is about 6, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, about 6 inches long and then about 2.5 inches wide. But the paper we used was the big watercolor paper, which then after we paint it, and I'll be popping in pictures of each of the papers that I created here, she had us do the strips. And then this was like the leftover strip, which is probably, let's see, yeah, whoops, you can see it there, about 1.5 inches wide. She said we can make the books larger or smaller or fatter or even add more pages, but this is what we did. And it was a cascading thing here. So I did something a little different. What I did is I added a brad. Oh, there I go again. I'm calling them brads. We know they're eyelets. I used an eyelet before I put in the ribbon. This is cardboard, a backing from one of my watercolor pads, but I just thought that gave it just a little neater touch. So onward with the thing. One of the ideas everyone was putting in the chat box was quotes, or just leave it as it is, or put in your favorite stickers. And recently I've been on hyper-focusing collecting quotes, and I thought this would be a great way of gathering quotes for another project that I have stirring in my head, which is not on paper yet. But as soon as it's on paper, I'll let you guys know. So this circle, along with these other ones, I just wanted to let you know, were created by us just putting lots of different colors, well, the colors we used. Remember, these are the colors I used, onto paper. Oops, can you see them there? There we go. And then we made black circles because that was our predominant focus color. And all I did was I used the bottle of a Trader Joe's bottle that I've done before. It's full of paint now, so I just use that to make my circles because I love circles. So this one was a cutout from that, and then I had my hexie cutter out, and I made a couple hexies because I just wanted something a little different. So here's our first quote. Get the paint, or get your paint on the paper, Dina. That's one of the things she said throughout the class. And it was so true, because she said that you won't know what it looks like until you get the paint onto the paper. So I thought that was a neat way of starting my book. Now, here's the cover, and it doesn't open like the regular books do, you know, usually this way when you're looking at the camera. We did it backwards, which I love. 1, because I'm left-handed. 2, I do a lot of things backwards, so this seemed a normal way of doing it. One other thing before I start, the difference between my book and the other ones, if you see these online from the finished class, is that I do not have any of the cloth sticky back paper that people use to make books like this. I'm still learning about all these things about junk journaling and making mixed media books, and I do not have that in my arsenal yet. So I can't tell you where to get it, how much it is, but what she did is that she did a black cover also, so she painted the strips black. Well, I had to be MacGyver, and I used some packing tape in here, and it looked really crummy. And I had to use some packing tape here, and it looked really crummy. So what I did, instead of bringing the camera down, I'm just going to bring it here. I used, oops, there we go. I used a couple of the cutouts. and covered the seams. As you can see right here is the seam. So it will fold. So that's one other thing I forgot to tell you. Okay, back to the reveal. So I put this quote in the front cover. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. Lady Bird Johnson. Now we're going to go to the other quotes. This is something I keep telling myself all the time, and then when I do posts on Instagram, I try to remind others that they can do this too. This is my art, my journey, my life, my story. Okay, here's some other, these are just full of quotes, so I'm just going to read them because I want to. I will get there, but right now I'm here. And I forgot where I got this one, and I tried to look it up and couldn't find a name, so I wrote unknown. Here's my word for 2023 again. I just did a little definition of it. Simplify. To make something simpler, easy, or to do, so I'm sorry, let's try that again. Make something simpler or easier to do or to understand. And that's what 2023 is all about to me. Here's the next one by Jim Hansen. See, bring it down, there we go. There's not a word for old friends who've just met. That would just be phenomenal, to just meet someone and just feel like you're old friends with that person. And this is kind of my own words and just things I've heard all the time. I'm not quoting anyone. Your strength inspires me. Nobody is perfect. This one is from my my calendar that I shared with you in my mini tour of my studio. The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. By Thich Nhat Hanh. And what I did on this one is I had some of the circles from that one page, and I just cut them out and put them where I thought they would look nice. This is another one that she used throughout the class, and I think it gave me a boot of confidence that mine did not look like hers. And I didn't expect mine to look like hers because I'm not Dina and Dina's not me. She goes, use the colors you like. And as soon as she said that, I calmed down. I wasn't panicking like, oh my gosh, should I change the colors? I don't have that magenta color. I don't have that other yellow color. But as soon as she said, use the colors you like in your art, and I'm like, duh, I know that. I've done that. So this is a wonderful quote for us creatives just to keep around. For then I think we'll be more true to what our art is instead of it looking like everyone else's. Judy Garland said, always be first class rate version of yourself instead of a rate version of someone else. And this is true in our art community around the world. Let's see, Kerry Washington. Learn to embrace your own unique beauty. Celebrate your unique gifts with confidence. Your imperfections are actually a gift. And I'm just going to leave that to your own interpretation. I love this. This was one of my favorite pages. I love the way this paper turned out. I'm going to show you about right here what the actual paper looked like because I used all three colors, and then we dominantly did a couple art marks with black. And at first I was scared to do that, and I actually accidentally covered some of the black, so I went back with my black paint before I cut it out and went over it again. And oh my goodness, I'm so happy I did that because it just turned out beautiful. I really didn't want to cut it apart, but when you're making art, sometimes you have to do that. So I took a picture of each of the pages that we did, so I will always have that memory too. And this is by Dr. Stephen Shore. When you meet one person with autism, you've met one person. And that's my go-to quote when I meet someone for the first time and let them know that I'm autistic. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. This one is by Andrea Malarex, if I'm pronouncing him or her's name right. I don't know if that's a female or a male that's calling themselves Andrea or Andre. An artist discovers his genius the day he dares to please. So it was kind of like, or I might have missed the word not please. I think it's not to please. So I've messed up that one already. I'm going to have to go back and check it. I'll let you know when I edit this video if I got it right. But remember, this is artist in the raw. So anyways, either way, it's pretty strong. You know, we don't need to please anyone. We're just making art for art's sake or ourself. This was one of the fodder that was left over. I added some more art marks here. This was already there, but I love this type of art mark. So I thought that was neat. And then I already read that quote. So I'm going to close the book up and then show you the last quote, which I got inspired when I heard this quote on the channel of Wendy's, The Unexpected Gypsy. And it says, I used to think I was the strangest person in the world, but I thought there are so many people in the world. There must be someone just like me who feels bizarre and flaws in the same way as I do. Frida. And that gave me goosebumps. That gave me tears of joy in my eyes when I heard her read it. And with her British accent, of course, it sounds so much more lovely. But it was a great video, which I'll mark here so you can go watch it yourself, that she was talking about just her struggles as an artist, as a woman that's getting older, or I think in the same generation. And if you know about anything about Frida and how she had her own personal struggles and physical struggles throughout her life, and to feel that isolated, even today with today's technology, social media, I think a lot of us feel that way still. So here is my first ever Dina Weekly online class. I'm not getting anything out of this, guys, just letting you know. If you want to try one of her classes, they're pretty inexpensive. They were within my budget. This one was, I think, $20. You go sign up, and even though she just did the class, you will be admitted to the class and can watch the video forever and watch it on repeat until you understand how she does this. So I just want to show you one more time. Look how pretty that turned out. We did a lot of work on all these different pages. Here, I'm going to show you the other way, so you can kind of see it when you kind of look at, when you see it backwards. Kind of a different look too. But it was so worth working on these pages, waiting for them to dry, and then to cut them down like this. She winged it a little, but then she was nice enough to go back and kind of measure out. So if you're going to do a cascade book like this, she started about, I think, at about 2 inches, then 2.5, 3, 3.5, etc. But it's really up to you how much of you want to show. I measured because my book would have probably been as long as this whole page, the original 11 inches, because all the artwork was so gorgeous. I mean, look at that. That is part of, let's see, this page. This is part of that page. So, yeah. Okay, that's it. Another video in our junk journaling / mixed media lineup for 2023. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Give it a thumbs up, because actually that does help me with my goal that I want to set for this year. And I have the deadline for October. If I make it before then, that'd be even more fabulous. And don't forget to subscribe and click all those things that you're supposed to do so you can catch on other videos. And remember, I also have my coffee shop, which I'll link down below. You can check out that feed. There is a membership coming soon to that feed. And also I have a couple printables and stickers that are going to come soon to that shop. So until next time, remember, I still have leftover from yesterday. Messy hands, happy life. See you next time. Bye.